Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. So for today, what happened here is we are going to discuss about the June 2020 geography paper, okay? IGCSE, International General Certificate of Secondary Education. Okay, apparently I'm going to use a mixed language here, which I'm going to mix between English and Bahasa Melayu because apparently some of the IGCSE students are Malay students in which maybe you will have some sort of difficulties whenever I'm explaining everything in English. Therefore, we are going to mix the language so that you will be able to comprehend the message that I'm going to give you. Okay. Jadi hari ini apa yang saya akan buat adalah saya akan campurkan sedikit bahasa Melayu dan bahasa Inggeris so that all of you could understand the concept of these geographical terms better. Okay. Now, untuk hari ini kita ada satu soalan yang mana saya ambil daripada paper IGCSE June 2020, okay, which is geography of course. And then after that, apa yang kita akan bincangkan kat sini adalah about the population growth. Okay. Jadi, kalau you dalam year 10 ataupun you dalam year 11, okay, you akan kita panggil akan perasan yang the first chapter that we are talking about is population dynamics. Okay. This will be the first chapter in your textbook. Okay, population dynamics. Okay, now jadi sebelum kita pergi dengan lebih mendalam tentang apa tu population growth, saya nak kena cerita sikit tentang apa tu sebenarnya definition of population growth and apa tu definition of net migration. Okay, to put it simpler, natural population growth, okay, natural population growth dia terbahagi kepada dua. Positive change growth, positive change, and then you ada satu lagi, the negative change. Okay. Jadi, apa sebenarnya maksud negatif dengan positive change ni? Okay, saya akan bagikan contoh. Natural population growth ni adalah all about the number of birth. The number of birth and then the number of death that occurred in a certain period of time. Jadi maksudnya kat sini, kalau kadar kelahiran lebih tinggi daripada kadar kematian, bermaksud anda mempunyai the positive change. Okay? Ingat kalau kadar kelahiran lebih tinggi daripada kadar kematian, maka anda akan ada positive change. Tetapi kalau misal kata anda ada lebih banyak kadar kematian dan kurangnya kadar kelahiran, okay, you have a reducing birth rate, but then again you have the increasing death rate. This is what we call as the negative change. Yang mana population tu akan berkurang instead of bertambah. That is what we call as the positive change. Remember, the key takeaway here is positive change, kadar kelahiran tinggi, kadar kematian rendah, bermaksud population akan meningkat. Negative change, kadar kematian tinggi, kadar kelahiran rendah, bermaksud anda akan mempunyai population decrease ataupun number of population tu akan berkurangan. Okay? Okay, jadi sekarang kita dah bincang tentang what is the natural population growth. Maafkan saya, natural population growth. Jadi sekarang ni kita nak bincang pula apa tu sebenarnya net migration. This one here. What is net migration actually? Net migration ni dia berkisar tentang the number of immigrants and the number of emigrants. Okay. Jadi dekat sini, apa tu immigrants? Siapa sebenarnya immigrant kat sini? Immigrant ni adalah orang yang datang ke dalam negara kita. Contohnya orang daripada luar, datang untuk bekerja, datang untuk belajar di dalam negara kita. So that is what we call as the immigrant. They are coming into the countries. Okay, they are coming into the countries. Okay. And then you have the emigrant. Okay, I means enter, E means exit. Okay, emigrants means those people who are residing in a country and then deciding to leave the countries. So emigrant ni maksudnya, contoh kita duduk Malaysia, lepas tu pula kita nak pindah, berhijrah. Mungkin kita berhijrah ke Indonesia contohnya untuk bekerja ataupun belajar. Ataupun mungkin anda nak berhijrah ke London ataupun US. So anda berhijrah ke sana ada sebab-sebab tertentu. And then you are exiting the country. You tak give up you punya citizenship, no. Bukan giving up citizenship is not the correct term for immigrants. Immigrants means that you keluar daripada negara you residing dekat negara lain. Okay, so emigrants maksudnya you are exiting your country. Exiting your country physically. Okay, your country physically. Okay. Jadi sekarang ni net migration ni bermaksud the number of immigrants minus the number of emigrants. So you will have the net migration. Okay, berapa ramai orang yang datang ke dalam sesuatu tempat tu, and then berapa ramai orang yang keluar daripada tempat tu. You tolakkan, and then you dapat the net migration. Okay, I give you one example. Okay, example here. Dia kena ingat untuk net migration ni, it is not necessarily we are talking about the countries. No, we can also talking about states. We are also can talk about the district as well. Okay, contohnya katalah anda duduk dekat wilayah ataupun daerah Kuala Selangor. Okey, Kuala Selangor. Okey, baik. Dekat Kuala Selangor ni ada orang yang datang. Okey, ada orang yang datang maksudnya orang daripada luar Kuala Selangor berhijrah ke Kuala Selangor. Mereka berhijrah untuk sama ada bekerja, belajar dan sebagainya. Okey. Jadi katalah the total amount of people who are immigrating to Kuala Selangor, katakan the number is 5,000. And then lepas tu pula, the number of people who are exiting Kuala Selangor, katalah namanya 10,000. Okay, so dekat sekarang ni dekat sini adalah, you tengok Kuala Selangor yang masuk 5,000, yang datang ke tempat tu untuk bekerja, belajar mungkin hanya 5,000 sahaja. But then again, berapa ramai yang keluar? 10,000. 10,000 people are leaving Kuala Selangor, maybe for KL, maybe for PJ. So this 10,000, actually, you minus this. 5,000 minus 10,000, you get negative 5,000. This is what we call as the net migration for Kuala Selangor. Maksudnya dia the negative net migration. Negative net migration means that more people are leaving than the number of people who are coming into the states or who are coming into that place. We call it as the negative net migration. Tapi kalau you bercakap tentang tempat seperti PJ contohnya. Okay, katakan PJ kat sini. Okay, this is PJ Petaling Jaya. Petaling Jaya. Okay, so now you have Petaling Jaya, and then katakan yang masuk ke dalam Petaling Jaya, let's say that the number is 150,000. And then those who are living Petaling Jaya here, okay, the number would be maybe 15,000 for example. So you minus 150,000 minus 15,000. You take the calculator. Okay, let me calculate this for you. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit weak at in maths, so I need to calculate using calculator. Okay, minus 15,000. Okay, therefore you will get the answer is 135,000. So actually you are having a positive net migration. Means that more people are coming into your place rather than the number of people who are leaving your place. Okay. So kena ingat net migration sama juga macam natural population growth. You ada the positive one. And then at the same time you also have the negative one. Yang tu you kena tahu apa sebenarnya net migration. Same goes to the natural population growth. Dia ada positif, ada negatif. So remember, if you want to calculate this, the number of immigrants, the one who coming into the place, you minus the number of immigrant, the one who are exiting your place. Only then you will have the net migration. Okay. So we are done with the explanation about the concept. Okay, jadi kita pergi ke soalan yang pertama. Okay, let's move on to the first question, which is what was the total population growth in the UK in 2014? Okay, as you can see here, this chart here or this bar chart here is actually all about the population growth in UK in 2014, which it started in 1992 until 2014. Okay, now dia tanya the total population growth in UK in 2014. Jadi apa jawapannya? Well, it's actually a pretty easy question because everything you can get from the chart itself. Okay, jadi kalau kamu tengok dekat sini untuk 2014 2014 saja. You can ignore all of those things. Only look at 2014. 2014 you tengok dekat sini untuk yang grey color, the darker grey color ni adalah natural population growth. Okay, natural population growth, and then the net migration. Net migration means it is already calculated. Okay, so the net migration here is total with the national population growth, you dapat 500,000. Okay, 500,000 kat sini. So 500,000 is the total population growth in UK. Bermaksud ini adalah number populasi yang berkembang di UK pada tahun 2014. Okay, kamu dah ada net migration dekat sini, yang mana net migration tadi kita dah tolakkan orang yang masuk dengan orang yang keluar, and then lepas tu pula natural population growth kita dah tolakkan the death rate and also the birth rate. Maksudnya kita dah tolakkan kadar orang yang lahir dengan kadar kematian. Jadi bila kita dah tolakkan, kita dah tengok ada pertambahan. Okay, jangan confuse jangan confuse. Dalam graf ini semuanya telah dikira. Melainkan kalau dia bagi graf, dia bagi tahu ini adalah kadar kelahiran, ini adalah kadar kematian. Berapakah rate untuk natural population growth melalui data tersebut. Only then you need to calculate. But then again, it is given here directly. Okay? Remember, key takeaway. Saya nak kena cakap benda ni berulang-ulang kali supaya kamu ingat. Okay, kamu kena ingat ya. Net migration means that it is all about the one who enter the countries, which we call as immigrant, and then the one who exiting the countries, which we call as a migrant. The natural population growth is all about the birth rate, and then you minus it with the death rate. Okay, jadi kamu tahu ada positif, ada negatif. Positif means ramai yang lahir, kurang yang mati. Negatif means ramai yang mati, kurang yang lahir. Okay, so this one is 500,000. Kalau misal kata tak faham, boleh tanya dekat bawah. Okay, baik. Number 2. What is meant by the following terms? Natural population growth. Okay, as I have mentioned to you before, the natural population growth, the meaning is the difference between the number of birth and deaths. Okay, so kamu dah tahu tadi kan? Kalau kita cakap tentang natural population growth, it's all about the number of birth rate and then the number of death rate, and then lepas tu pula you subtract dua-dua ni, and then you akan dapat the differences. So that is your natural population growth. So in simpler terms, you can say it is all about the difference between the number of birth rate and death rate. Okay. Sebab kita cerita pasal kadar kelahiran dengan kadar kematian. They want the definition. So you give the definition only. And then lepas pula untuk net migration. Net migration you tahu ia adalah berkenaan dengan orang yang masuk ke dalam sesuatu tempat dan juga orang yang keluar daripada sesuatu tempat. Jadi berapa ramai orang yang masuk tempat tu dan berapa ramai orang yang keluar. Okay? Therefore, dia punya definitionnya adalah it is all about the difference of migration. Okay, the difference of migration yang mana between immigration and emigration. Okay. Atau you boleh bagi tahu juga dalam perkataan yang kamu faham, you boleh kata the difference between people who move in and move out in a particular places. Maksudnya dekat sini adalah contohnya saya bagi Rawang sebagai contoh. So mungkin yang masuk ke Rawang adalah 50,000, but then yang keluar daripada Rawang adalah 500,000. So bila you tolakkan 50,000 tolak 500,000, you akan dapat negative 450,000. Maksudnya the net migration is in the negative side. Ramai orang keluar berbanding orang yang masuk. But if you are talking about the big cities such as PJ or maybe Kepong or maybe Kuala Lumpur or Johor Bahru, you will have more people migrating into the place rather than people coming out from the place. Okay? Therefore, we have finished question 1 and question 2. Okay, now, so let's continue with the next one, which is question number 3. Okay, number 3, simple. It is all about observation towards the bar or chart that they gave to you. Okay, dekat sini dia tanya, identify from figure 1.1, which is this one, okay, a year when, number one, A here, net migration was greater than natural population growth. Okay, dekat sini dia tanya, tahun bilakah sebenarnya net migrationnya lebih besar daripada natural population growth itu sendiri? Okay, jadi bila you kena tengok balik dekat sini dekat chart ni. Okay, baik. So you tahu yang dekat sini net migration ni dia a lighter grey and the natural population growth ni dia the darker grey. Kita nak tengok net migration. Yang mana net migration paling besar? So jadi dari kita panggil dari mata kasar, you can see that the natural, what we call that, the net migration yang paling besar sekali berlaku pada tahun 2005. Okay, so 2005 here, as you can see, kalau you tengok betul-betul daripada graf ni tadi, ni 2005, this one here. So you akan tengok daripada graf ni, dia punya number adalah somewhere around 420, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 420, 440, 460, 460,000. Okay, jadi dia punya migration dekat sini adalah 460,000. Okay, sorry, not that. 460,000 adalah dia punya total population growth. Tapi dekat sini you tengok daripada 460, lepas tu you minus dengan somewhere around 1020. So you boleh tengok dekat sini ni, dekat sini. Ni kan, dekat sini dia punya threshold untuk dia punya kita panggil natural population growth. So natural population growth dia adalah 120,000 and then the rest adalah dia punya kita panggil what we call that the net migration. So you just guna calculator 460,000 minus 120,000 and then you will get somewhere around 460 minus 120, you will get 340,000. Okay, tapi katalah you tak confident dengan benda ni, somehow you tak boleh gunakan mata kasar, you kena bandingkan dengan tempat lain pula. So let's say you tengok tahun somewhere around 2006, 2007 ini, 2007 sini kan, 2007 nampak besar sikit. So 2007 kita tengok dia punya population growth adalah somewhere around 180,000 for the natural population growth. And then dia punya total population adalah 485,000. You boleh tengok dekat sini 485,000 or 490,000. So 490,000 you minus dengan somewhere around to 180,000 and then you will get 490 minus 180. So you get 310. Maksudnya dekat sini kecil sikit. Okay. Jadi sekarang ni kita just confirmkan balik. Tapi dekat sini you dah boleh nampak. Untuk yang last kali 2014 tadi. Okay, 2014 tadi you boleh tengok the population growth in 2014 ataupun you mungkin boleh tengok ni lah. You boleh tengok tahun 2010 sebab 2010 is the highest, right? So 2010 kita tengok dia punya population growth-nya adalah somewhere around 260,000. 260,000 dia punya natural population growth, and then after that you have around 530,000 total population. 530 minus 260, 530 minus 260, you will get 270, which is a little bit lower. Okay, jadi still dekat sini tahun 2005 adalah tahun yang paling tinggi sebab dia ada 340,000 of net migration. And then lepas tu you tengok 2014, just to be safe. So 2014 dekat sini, you tahu the total population growth is 500,000. And then lepas pula you tengok dekat sini, it is somewhere 220. The natural population growth is 220. So 500 minus 220, you still get 280. Therefore dekat sini you tahu yang tahun 2005 adalah tahun yang paling besar. So you can see that the net migration was greater than natural population growth in 2005. Okay, easy. Okay, not that easy actually. It's easy actually, but then again, you need to observe the chart carefully. Make sure you do the calculation. Don't just simply look at the chart at first glance and then you just simply put 2005. It is not that safe. It is not safe to take that kind of risk. You need to see and calculate it. Take maybe 1 or 2 minutes to calculate them. And then once you are satisfied with your calculation, only then you put the number. Bila dah puas hati, bila you dah calculate semua, you put the number. Okay, now the next one. There were more immigrants than emigrants. Okay, dekat sini dia tanya. Dekat sini dia kata, terdapat lebih banyak immigrants. Immigrants means the one who are exiting the place rather than the immigrants, the one who are entering the place. Okay, so dekat sini boleh tengok dekat sini dekat mana yang net migration dia negatif. You need to remember, more people exiting, it means that it should be a negative net migration, negative migration. So bila you tengok dia punya chart ni, you just cari yang mana dia punya net migrationnya adalah negatif. So kalau you kena ingat kalau positif means that you have more immigrants rather than emigrants. Tapi kalau you ada banyak immigrants rather than immigrants, it means that it is a negative net migration. Therefore, you tengok dekat sini, the only years yang ada negative migration, negative net migration ni adalah pada 1992. So bila you tengok ada net migration yang duduk dekat carta negatif ni, bermaksud pada tahun itu lebih ramai orang keluar daripada orang yang masuk. Okay, now the largest total population growth occurred. Okay, so dekat sini memang dah obviously lah. The obviously kat sini you tengok this will be the highest peak of the whole entire chart. Okay, the whole chart, this will be the highest peak. So the highest peak here is somewhere 520,000. Okay, 520,000. Dia boleh tengok kat sini. Macam mana saya tahu 520,000? So 500,000, 600,000, you ada 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Means that this is 520, this is 540, this is 560, this is 580, and then this is 600. Okay, so dekat sini you dapat 520, and it occurred somewhere in 2010. No, not 2010. This is for 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So 2011 is your highest population growth. So you boleh cakap kat sini 2011. Okay. Okay, now we move on to the next one, which is I would say that this is one of the most interesting question. Number 4, it says explain why there are low rates of natural growth population in MEDCs such as the UK. First of all, I need to explain what is MEDCs as well as what is LEDCs. Okay, MEDC stands for the MEDC stands for a more economically developed countries. This is what we call as the MEDCs. And then you also have the LEDC. LEDC means that the less economically developed countries. So as you know, for the MEDCs, okay, for the MEDCs or the more economically developed countries, you will have the countries such as UK, Japan, France, Germany, and so on. And then for the less economically developed countries, you can say maybe countries such as the Burma or Myanmar, or maybe African countries, or maybe the Middle East countries. Okay, those are the less economically developed countries. Okay, so here it asks you why there are low rates of natural population growth in MEDCs such as the UK's. Means that why there are the low rates of natural population growth, why there are low of birth rate at the first place. Okay, you need to remember when we talk about the natural population growth, we are talking about the birth rate and also the death rate. Okay, that rate. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, now, so what happened here is you need to remember in a more developed countries such as UK, for example, you need to remember one thing. They put more stress on having a quality of life. Okay, quality of life, meaning that they put more stress or more emphasis, they emphasize on having a good family planning. And this lead to a small family. Small family means that parents and then maybe 2 or 3 kids maximum. That is what we call as the small family. And then number 2 here, you need to remember, in UK, it is completely okay for them to have some sort of contraception. Or maybe you can see that to avoid the pregnancy, they can practice certain things in order to make sure that they are not giving birth unnecessarily. Okay, so you have something like contraception. And do not even feel shocked, or do not even feel a little bit, what we call that, a little bit stunned, if I say that some of the countries also, they allow abortions. Okay, they allow abortions in order to make sure that they want to have a quality of life. You need to remember one of these things. When you have less, when you have less children, some people says that you could put more focus on these children. Maybe you have two, maybe you have three, so you can put and allocate all of your resources to these children rather than spending, maybe you need to allocate a small expenditure for every children if you have 5 or 6 children. This is what they believe. Okay, this is what they believe. And most of these, what we call it, more economically developed countries, they are behaving like that. And then the next one here, you need to remember that women are educated. Okay, so women are educated most in this MEDC's country, which means that either they are they are getting married, but then again later in their life, which means that they might get married at the age of 40 or 50s, in which at that time they might not be as fertile as when they were a young girl or maybe a young lady before. Therefore, it also affects the birth rate. And you need to remember as well that some of the women, when they are educated, they have what we call that a good career, they tend to put marriage as the last priority. Okay, means that more and more women and more men in a more economically developed countries, they choose not to get married. Okay, and then after that, you need to remember also that, okay, in certain countries such as the less economically developed countries, you need to remember that they have some sort of beliefs that having much children or having more children will help them, what we call that, to achieve things. Or maybe in our belief also, we believe that as you have more and more children also, it attracted your rezeki. But then again, you need to remember one thing: family planning is important. Family planning is very important. You need to plan. You cannot do everything blindly. Okay, therefore, when we talk about why there are low rates of natural population growth in MEDC such as UK, you need to remember one thing: they are more economically developed. And then after that, what happened here is they have a low fertility rates because of maybe the woman get married later in life, or maybe they don't get married at all. And then after that, they also can practice something that can avoid pregnancy, such as the contraception, and no one will question them. And then some of the countries also allows abortions. And then after that, they also will have some sort of a very careful family planning. Okay, very careful family planning in order to make sure that all the expenses that are accommodated for the children would be adequate and would be satisfyingly enough. You need to remember one thing: there is some sort of truth whenever we talk about the quality is more important than the quantity itself. You could allocate more and more resources to your children. If you have 2 children, you can allocate more resources to them, and you can make sure that they have the best, what we call that, the best access to education, the best access to healthcare, and the best access to the opportunity in life when you put the adequate amount of fundings for their education. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. Okay, therefore, let's sum it up. So as you can see here, you need to remember one thing: the MEDCs, number one, they have a very careful family planning. Number two, low fertility rate. Low fertility rate means that the woman itself will get married later in life, in which affecting their fertility rate, or they don't get married at all. And then after that, the next one here is they are allowed to use the method that would avoid pregnancy, such as, for example, contraceptions. And then after that, they also could have abortion if they want. And then after that, also you need to remember that they put stresses on quality rather than quantity. Okay, Okay, that's all for today. I think if you have any question, you can ask in the comment section below. Please give a constructive what we call it constructive feedback. If there are anything here which needs to improve, I'm sure there are lots of things that need to be improved. Let me know in the comment below, and then I will make sure that we will have this thing improve later on in the futures. Okay, and I'm trying to get better and better in explaining those things. Okay, thank you so much, and then I'll see you again in the future in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.